850-874-1900. 850-874-1900.
This July 4th, come celebrate the birth of our great nation at the City of Panama City's Salute to Freedom. Gather up your friends and family and head to the Destination Panama City Visitor Center at 101 West Beach Drive for a day filled with patriotism, music, family fun, and fireworks. Festivities kick off at 2 p.m. with vendors, food trucks, DJ, kids activities, and more. The live music starts on the Bayside stage at 3 with Flip Flop Republic. At 5, Sons of Saints takes the stage while the Salute to Freedom Parade marches down Harrison Avenue. Headliner Dozzy performs at 7:30, lighting up the stage before the main event. At 9:30, the most spectacular view of the fireworks display will be right on the Love PC lawn next to beautiful St. Andrews Bay. Salute to Freedom is open to the public with limited VIP tickets available for purchase. For more information, visit the Salute to Freedom 2022 event page on Facebook.
Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, this is Tim.
Do y'all sell bait?
Yes, we seasonally stock live shrimp, live bull minnows, live sand fleas, live fiddler crabs, earthworms, night crawlers, crickets. We also stock frozen shrimp, sand fleas, mullets, squid, pre-rigged ballyhoo, bonita, stingray, cigar minnows, Boston mackerel, Spanish mackerel, and a few other miscellaneous baits. It's worth the drive to buy premium locally sourced bait from Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, located directly off Highway 98 on the west end of Panama City Beach.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. People with disabilities are extremely talented, resilient problem solvers that have so much to offer. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours.
Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
I'm NASCAR driver Bobby Labonte. At 200 miles per hour, many unseen dangers can arise in the blink of an eye. That's why we have spotters high above the track. They help drivers avoid trouble. Parents need to play the same role when it comes to kids and computers. As a parent, I know the internet can take kids to wonderful sites for learning, entertainment, and fun, but it can also lead to danger.
Here are some safety tips. Keep the computer in a family area where you can see it. Proactively teach your children never to share personal information online.
My turn.
Become knowledgeable about signing on to websites, searching for information, and using email and instant messaging. Doing so will help you recognize potential dangers. Familiarize yourself with safer websites and post that list by your computer.
Like our spotters, parents are best positioned to see the dangers kids could face online and to help them avoid them. Make a commitment to keeping kids safe online.
A message from WebWise Kids and Ask.com.
We're your home for live sports. WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana. Powered by Pepsi. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Transmission starts in 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting from the Rib Crib Radio Room. The Afternoon Underdogs are taking your calls live. 850-215-6290. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
What is going on, man? Welcome into the Rib Crib Radio Room on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Man, I'm ready for Wednesday or Thursday. You guys know why? Because I'm headed to Atlanta tomorrow right after the show to watch Freddie Freeman get his ring. And a lot of people are talking on Twitter, Facebook, all of that good stuff about, oh, they can't wait to cheer for Freddie Freeman. I can't wait to cheer for Freddie Freeman as soon as he gets his ring. Mm-hmm. As soon as that man steps into the batter box. Come on now, I'm preaching.
He's a Dodger at that point.
He's a Dodger, man. We're done with that.
Boo him into oblivion.
I am going to boo him. It's going to be really interesting for me to see what the ratio is going to be. You know what I mean? Because, of course, there's people who stand by their athletes till death do them part. Better than their marriages, if you will. I'm not that guy. Another thing is this is really one of the only athletes that have been so influential on a franchise that I have the availability. Like Jock Peterson, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's playing the Braves right now, San Francisco Giants. No hate towards him. Love the guy. I love Freddie Freeman. You did a lot for the Braves, so I cannot wait to boo you once you step into the batter's box. Man, we've got a great show for you guys today. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes. We've got Brian Haddad. We've got Austin Siegel, and we've got a plethora of guests coming up today. 4:30, we've got Chris Bibbs. At 4:15, we've got Alan Watson. And at 5:15, one of my favorite segments to this point, Todd Mueller with PCB, coins and cards. We're also going to have some great stories from Austin today. We were talking about Scout Team yesterday and how that all works out. Well, he's lined up some stories for 5 o'clock today. Cannot wait for it. So make sure that you're tuned in. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your foes. 5 o'clock, Scout Team stories coming from Austin Siegel. Let's get into our Salutes of Freedom, brought to you by 102.1 FM and 104.3 FM. Did that a little bit backwards. If you're headed up 231 towards the Bay County, Jackson County line, and you get to about Compass Lake, you'll hear the 104.3 signal start to fade, so you can turn it right over to 102.1. But join us for the 4th of July. We've got lots of fun for kids, live music, and a parade. Fireworks display at 9:30 over beautiful St. Andrews Bay, sponsored by Destination PC, the City of Panama City, and 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. In the world of college baseball last night, the College World Series, tough luck for Auburn. We saw Arkansas get trounced by Ole Miss. I think the score was 13-5. Arkansas returned the favor to Auburn last night, 11-1. Will McIntyre limited Auburn to 3 hits and 1 run in 7 innings. Peyton Stovall became the first player in 13 years with 5 hits in a College World Series game, and Arkansas eliminated Auburn with that 11-1 victory Tuesday night. They need to beat Ole Miss twice to stay in Omaha and keep that Rocco's College World Series shots dream alive. A&M, on the other hand, has lost to Oklahoma today.
Yes.
And so they're done.
They're out. Oklahoma's going to the championship round.
Is anyone going to be able to top Oklahoma?
Yeah, actually, Ole Miss and Arkansas are both talented enough to do it. Ole Miss's pitchers are on fire.
So Arkansas-Ole Miss final is what we're looking at?
No, the winner of Arkansas-Ole Miss will play Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah, that is true. Two sides of the bracket.
In the final, but both are certainly talented enough to do it. In fact, both schools early in the year and probably right around the middle of the season were ranked top 5, top 6 in the country. I mean, Ole Miss was number 1 at one point this year. And both of them really just kind of underwhelmed down the stretch to the point that Ole Miss is probably the last team in the tournament. And then their pitchers have just been on fire since. They haven't lost a game in the regionals, super regionals, or in Omaha. So
what are they like? Was it 12, 15-0?
Something like that down the stretch.
That's crazy at this point in time of the year to be at that stretch.
They're talented enough, and Arkansas is talented enough as well. Their pitchers haven't been quite as hot as Ole Miss's, but nobody's have. But Oklahoma's playing good too, so it's hard to pick out of these 3. I mean, Arkansas has obviously got the toughest road because they'd have to beat Ole Miss twice. So, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting. That's for sure.
Now, as a guy that's a Mississippi State grad, an Alabama football fan, could be other sports. We don't know that yet.
It's mostly football.
Mostly football. When it comes to Ole Miss being in this position, do you tend to cheer for them, root for them, or are you a guy who's like, let's go Arkansas, let's go Oklahoma, like whoever can take Ole Miss down, let's get it done?
I'm going to reveal a lot about myself here.
Let's go, man. That's what radio's for.
I really, really do. I hope Ole Miss gets through Arkansas, gets into the championship series, gets one out away from winning it, and loses in spectacular fashion. I'm that guy. Especially after Mississippi State finally won one last year. It took us 150 years to win a national championship in any sport. If Ole Miss comes back around the next year and wins it, I will be miserable. So, yes, I am a very small, shallow human being, but I don't care. I want them to get as close as possible and for it to hurt as much as possible when they come up short. I'm a bad human being.
Now, I do not consider you a bad human being. I feel like more human beings need to get onto that type of a, sorry about the mic there, that type of a bandwagon, because that's what makes sports fun. You know what I mean? When people are rooting against people, if everyone was like, well, they're looking real good, that'll be a lot of fun to cheer for. Yeah, get out of here.
What's funny is I can point to the moment which I really, because I didn't grow up a Mississippi State guy. Mm-hmm. And I went to school there. And so for the first couple of years, I didn't have the Ole Miss hatred. I didn't have it. I had friends that went to school there.
You had the Auburn hatred at that point.
Well, yeah, Tennessee's hatred. The Auburn was the playful, fun. I still can't stand Tennessee, as everyone knows.
I get that. And especially if you grew up in the timeline that you grew up in, you know what I mean? It's even more so. Like, for the guys who grew up in my generation, it's like Tennessee's an afterthought. Right. We hate them. Right. I can't stand their puke orange. But, come on. Little brother is an understatement. They're like the not even redheaded stepchild. They're, you know what I mean? Where when it comes to Auburn, they've beat us multiple times with Gus, and now even with
the one Tennessee-Alabama game I ever attended in person was at Legion Field, and it was the famous game where Peyton led the band. And I'm not proud of this, but I did hurl something at him from the stands. I didn't hit him, obviously.
No, I can't condone that one.
No, it was terrible, but I was a little upset in that game. But where my Ole Miss started, there was a really contentious football game, and after the game, Tuberville came up and, instead of kind of shaking Coach Sherrill's hand, kind of slapped it and ran off, and it was just, I don't know.
And ran off afterwards?
Yeah, I mean, and those two did not like each other for years.
Which makes games better.
And I don't know why, but it clicked at and I was just starting to work with the team then, so, Coach Sherrill was my guy, and I've really had an unhealthy hatred for him ever since.
I don't like the adjective of unhealthy there.
Oh, no, it's been unhealthy to me.
Unhealthy for you, but I think that is what makes sports, at least for me.
Fun. Yeah, it is.
That is what makes sports. You know what I mean? If everyone was just, okay, whoever the best team is, we're going to bandwagon towards them and stuff like that. No, the fact that we still have people who are Dallas Cowboys fans who relish in the 90s, that's beautiful. You know what I mean?
What was it? God, it's been, 10 years now. The Rangers got so close in the World Series. Maybe it was against the Cardinals. I can't remember who it was. But they got like an out away or something like that.
I'm trying to think in my lifetime have the Rangers been relevant.
Well, they went to like back-to-back World Series or something, didn't they? And came up short twice.
But the key word is my lifetime.
Well, yeah, I'm a lot older than you.
I don't want to get into a lot older.
Well, the funny thing is I don't think this is that long ago, but it was probably about a decade ago.
But I'm
that's the pain I want Ole Miss to feel. I want it to be in their grasp. I want it to be done, and it just be painful as can be, and I will enjoy it.
Oh, my goodness. 850-215-6290. What was the name of the original mascot of the Milwaukee and Atlanta Braves from the 1950s until 1986? Man.
I knew this one. I saw him.
You saw him?
I did.
It's just like Aaron Judge, man. He always finds a way to knock a home. Auburn Tigers' Jabari Smith is favored to be the number one pick in the heavily bet. Weird for the fact that when you look at the statistics when it comes to viewing pleasure, right? Major League Baseball last year outdid the NBA this year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, is that not insane? Yeah. Especially from I would imagine, but I can put myself in the same category. I'm a bigger baseball fan than I am a basketball fan.
Oh, I am too. It just surprised me that the ratings came in the way that they did. I mean, for me personally, I would agree with that. But, basketball, is very, quick and exciting. And as we always hear, baseball's losing people because it's slow and boring and old and all this stuff. But
yeah, I mean, that's why, like, a lot of times, like, I know a lot of people, like me personally, I love going to baseball games. Like, when I'm there in person, It's so hard for me to watch on TV just because how slow it is, and the broadcasters are a little more like monotone. Basketball is just fast paced. Like you're not really ever waiting around for anything to happen. The ball's constantly in play. So that's why I personally lean more toward basketball. But I mean, hearing that baseball was more watched, I mean, that is surprising.
Yeah, especially like you said, it's not made for TV. It's great to be at the ballpark. I love the pace of baseball when you're at the park, but on TV, it's just like I yell at the screen like, let's
go. If you was watching the Braves and the Giants last night in a final score of 12-10, now that is watchable baseball for the people who are not baseball fans. Now for the baseball purists, what is going on? What is going on? Let's get to the phone line, man. We've got Michigan State Bruce on the line. What was the name of the original mascot of the
Nakahoma?
Yes, sir, man. Chief Nakahoma. Go ahead, bud.
Baseball Live. I was at the old launching pad, and I watched Maddox pitch to Barry Bonds and set him down four times that day. Couldn't touch him. And he'd look right at him and tell him if it's 88 mile an hour and it's a fastball and you can't hit it. I don't care who you are.
I'll tell you what. Talk about someone who wasn't able to be hit back in the day. Nolan Ryan. As a guy who did not live in that era. And we talked about this yesterday in a sense. We were talking about Fran Tarkenton with the Minnesota Vikings. And when us younger fellows go back and watch the highlights, it's like, holy cow. That guy could play in today's NFL. Well, when you talk about Nolan Ryan in today's game would be above and beyond every pitcher.
Or Randy Johnson in his prime.
Yeah. Let's go, Randy Johnson. Hit me another bird, buddy.
I'll go further back. I'm talking Bob Feller could pitch today.
See, Bob Feller, that's another one that I think that put the highlights in front of me. I get it. But just the story or whatever, you know what I mean? And that's why so many people are infatuated with Steph Curry and LeBron James. Even though LeBron James, don't get me wrong, I feel like could play in any era of basketball, provided that he had the time to prepare for it and the right mindset. Hey, Michigan State Bruce, thanks so much for the call, my man.
All right, send me the info.
Oh, wait, hold on. Michigan State Bruce, you're still there?
Yes.
You wanted to say some things to try to hurt.
I'm gonna be nice today.
You're gonna be nice today.
I'm gonna play nice.
You're choosing peace, not violence.
I won't talk about how many times the refs cheated Michigan.
All right, man. Well, hey, thanks so much, Michigan State Bruce, for the call, bud.
All right, buddy. Thank you, bye.
Man, I am so excited for today's show. He just won himself. He doesn't even understand what he just won himself. $25 to Buddy Gandy's, a $15 gift certificate to Golf Plus, and a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock. So a big shout out to Michigan State Bruce. We were talking about the Auburn Tigers and Jabari Smith being favored to be the #1 pick, which where was Charles Barkley? This is a great question for you, and I can look up the answers that we have it solidified.
I want to say he went around 5 or 6.
Has Auburn ever had a #1 pick? That's what I want to get into.
What was the guy in the 2000s? Oh, I can't think of his name right now. I don't think he went 1. I think he may have gone like 3.
Mm-hmm. Would you be surprised if Jabari Smith goes #1 overall?
No. I to me, he's got the highest upside of anybody out there.
Are you a big fan of Chet Holmgren?
They may go safe with Holmgren. Holmgren's frame worries me.
I think if you're going safe with Holmgren, you're going safe to continue him in the G League. You're not looking for an NBA player if Chet Holmgren is your answer. We're going to take a quick break, man. I am so stoked about the all-star cast that we got today. Stick with us. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd.
Boom, that's it. LeBron is a brilliant passer, a Magic Johnson-level passer that will get you great 3 looks. AD's not a 3-ball shooter. Westbrook's not a shooter, period. So Kyrie solves an issue. Not all of them.
The Herd, weekdays 11 to 2 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Weather forecast for this afternoon, mostly sunny, heat advisory. It'll be around 97, feel like temperature 105. Northwest wind at 10, water temperature in the Gulf 86. Mostly clear in the mid to upper 70s tonight, mostly sunny Thursday near 99, and showers and thunderstorms Friday. This weather forecast has been brought to you by KHS and Associates, your source for affordable health insurance. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
What's up, everybody? David Pollock here with Barbaritos. Did you know that Barbaritos has 35 farm fresh ingredients? That means you have over 3,000 entree combinations that you can put on your plate. Luckily, Barbaritos put together their 9 under 500 calorie menu, which features 9 different entrees that you can feel great about eating. Try the ground turkey salad with double protein, the mini chicken burrito, or my personal favorite Friday meal, fish tacos with guacamole. It's a winning play with Barbaritos.
Are you concerned about safety when you travel? Emerald Coast AMSL specializes in self-protection. They offer a full line of safety products like men's and women's RFID wallets and concealed carry for purses, lifetime incidental replacement plan, and manufacturer's warranty on most items. Give the gift of self-protection and contact Michelle and Rick today, 850-358-2810, or visit their website at emeraldcoastdamsel.com. Emerald Coast AMSL, independent damsel pro for damsel in defense.
Dr. Chad Mitchell, orthopedic surgeon specializing in sports medicine and joint replacement of the knee, shoulder, and hip. He serves our local athletes and our community. Southern Orthopedic Specialist has been the leader in orthopedic care for over 20 years. New patients are welcome. Call 850-769-KNEE to schedule an appointment. More about Dr. Mitchell and Southern Orthopedic Specialist is available on their website, southernorthopedic.com. Southern Orthopedic, getting you back in the game.
Doing what other stations can't. The Afternoon Underdogs is live and local inside the Rib Crib Radio Room. 850-215-6290.
When you have completed dialing, listen for the ringing signal.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And now, we are live. We've got Alan Watson in the Rib Crib Radio Room with us, man. I've got a great cast today. Brian Haddad. I've got Austin Siegel. I'm David Hayes. We're the Afternoon Underdogs, but let's talk to the owner of Golf Plus in a world of golf right now that is just absolutely on fire. What's going on, Alan?
Hey, guys, doing great. Well, stores are really busy, lots of fittings, and lots of people excited about golf. And like you said, the world of golf's kind of on fire right now. So depending on which side you're on and how you look at it, it's either burning down or it's on fire, and it's a good thing. So
let me ask you, though, Alan, do as real golf fans, such as yourself and other fans out there who have been riding with the PGA Tour for so long, how many of those real golf fans do you think are actually picking a side here and not just hoping for the best of both worlds?
Yeah, I don't think that. I think definitely it seems like there's just some golfers and then obviously some sponsor companies and some things like that who are those entities who are having to pick sides because they're sort of being forced to. But you're right. As far as the casual fan or even the super fan, I don't think the fans are picking sides. I've definitely seen some online stuff, and I'm sure you have too, where people are kind of being negative or nasty one way or the other. I think some of that just has to do with their allegiance towards particular golfers. If you're a Rory guy, you may be more allegiant to the PGA Tour like he is, and you may have some derogatory things to say about LIV Golf. If you're a Phil guy or a Dustin, or maybe now Koepka's, jumped ship, and we hear Abraham Answer's going, and we've got that whole crew, Pat Perez, whatnot. So if you're on those guys, if you're their fan, then maybe you're more excited about LIV. But I think really as golf fans, we should just be excited for getting more golf. But I think the PGA Tour, again, is just stepping in it, trying to sort of battle this out when there's really no reason to.
Alan, it almost has a Ryder Cup feel to it, if you will.
Yes,
I mean, I've kind of felt like the way I feel in the Ryder Cup, which has been interesting. But I guess what I want to ask you, and I know it's probably hard to measure because we are in the summer. We did just have a major, but the controversy, all the discussion about golf, it's in the mainstream news now, not just the sports news. Have you seen maybe a direct impact on that and maybe driving business, for golf in general, putting people on the course, getting people into shops like yours, or is it too hard to maybe tell if that's been the case?
I think it's too early to tell. And again, I think because we've sort of divided the golf world and divided the golfers, and these guys have had to, drop their allegiance to the tour so that they can go be a part of this other thing. I think that's really where the focus has been. I don't think that it's driving traffic yet. I guess it could at some point if maybe these tournaments are hosted in places that maybe are not as golf centric, and maybe it gets people excited or something. But obviously I don't see that happening here in America. That would be more like internationally. Here, everybody that wants to play golf already plays golf, especially after the pandemic. We got 3.5 million new golfers worldwide, due to the pandemic. So that's really what's been driving the growth. Shops like mine that are focused on fitting and focused on helping golfers play their best golf. I think as more golfers come to the game, then they're going to discover shops like ours versus just like your traditional big box stores or whatever. But I don't think Live Golf, PGA Tour, et cetera, and all of that controversy, I don't think that's driving the business. But it's a good point because, if people are talking about it more, then maybe they become doers more of the sport.
You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, talking with Alan Watson, owner of Golf Plus. Give me your thoughts on the PGA, almost in a sense, combating Live Golf with their own new format that's going to be debuting this fall.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about when I said they're stepping in it. I think this is just a poor attempt at a cheap knockoff, and I would have rather seen them come up with their own unique way to format golf, or a way to format a tournament, or a way to have a little mini series or whatever, maybe even combining with the LPGA or doing something else where it's creative and different. This is basically a straight knockoff. They basically just took the format, took the number of tournaments, took the purse money, and they're just basically saying, oh, if you can do it, we can do it too. And I don't think there's enough uniqueness to this as an idea and as a concept to stand out and be like, look, we can be better than you. They're basically just saying, look, we can be the same as you. And same often comes off as, well, we're just trying here, but we don't really know what we're doing. And I think that's kind of sad. PGA Tour's got a lot more history. I think they should be playing off that. And I think they should have come up with something more unique than whatever you can do, we can do it exactly the same.
Now, you take a look at the U.S. Open. I'm going to let Brian dig into his next question next here. But you take a look at the U.S. Open and where the Live golfers finished at. Does that make even less sense for the PGA to do what they've done?
It does. And granted, that's only one tournament. And obviously the Live Golf, whoever's, backing that, the Saudi, people that are backing that, all that, obviously they would have liked to have seen a bigger, better turnout from their guys. But statistically, that just wasn't going to happen because percentage-wise, they don't have the numbers on their side right now. Let this play out over the course of a year or two and see where they finish in majors, and then you might have some data to really look at and say, okay, that's been good or that's been bad, or those guys weren't really contenders anyway, or they were, or whatever. But one tournament does not a data field make. So there's just not enough information there to kind of say that. But yeah, they didn't really need to jump off the deep end with this new format just to say like, oh look, you guys didn't do that well, but we're going to reward our guys anyway. But it does prove one thing, and that's that the PGA Tour had a lot more money that nobody knew about, or Mickelson knew about it because he was complaining about this a while back. So,
see that's what's getting me in this. Literally, the PGA Tour should fire everybody they have in their PR department because they've made every possible misstep you could make at every chance. And
I agree.
Yeah, you're right. Not only did they show that there was all of this, they showed that they've shown their belly. They're basically like, oh, okay, well, we'll just offer this. You're right. It's exactly the same, if not a slightly worse version of what they did in the first place. And then now, I thought their best time was during the major, because Monahan didn't say anything. Rory kind of calmed it down. And then today they've come out swinging with both barrels again, where they're, attacking. I just don't understand how they can't see the PR disaster that they're creating for themselves. If they just be quiet, go out and play, they still have the breadth of the best players in the world. Just go play and do your thing. And then, like you said, I loved your idea about involving the LPGA or something. Do something creative and different.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you draw people back, not
I don't know. Not copy and pasting.
Yeah, I think they need to fire their entire PR department and start over.
Heard me say this 10 times. They would have been much better off from the very beginning to act like it never happened and ignore it than to come out and scream and yell and act like a child throwing a tantrum. Jay Monahan looks like a spoiled brat who didn't get his way, and now he feels like if he just makes a big enough fuss, that it'll somehow magically go away. That's not going to happen. There's too much money behind this. He would have been much better off to say, you know what, that's fine. You can do what you're going to do. We'll come up with some new creative ideas and be fun. Give us a minute. We're going to come up with a new, better idea. And, I've been saying this for years now, that the LPGA, the PGA, the Korn Ferry, and the Champions Tour should have a mini series. I've been saying this for years. They should have a mini series where they play 4 or 6 events throughout the year, spaced out over time, where they bring the top 20 or the top 30 from each tour so they can have a full field and have a unique format so that when they put it on TV, it cross-pollinates the viewership, and people go, oh, look, I've never heard of Nelly Corda. That's really neat. She's a great golfer. Oh, look, there's Bernhard Langer. He's a legend, and he's still out there playing, and he's coming to my town next week. Maybe I should go see a Champions Tour event or whatever. They should be cross-pollinating these tours and getting the fan base excited instead of acting like they're all a bunch of standalones, because let's face it, the PGA Tour is the only draw, and they have all the power to lift these other ships and to be, when you pour into other people and you elevate other people, you elevate yourself. But when you try to be your own little bully and your own little guy, then nobody wants to be a part of what you got going on. And that's what they're doing.
Sunday morning. You're preaching.
I love it. Alan, let me ask you a fun question here. As somebody who's just trying to get back into playing, who I used to play a ton, what's kind of the hot new club that I should be looking at, or the hot new driver or whatever like that that's out there?
Yeah. Well, just know that if you don't buy it at Golf Plus, none of them work. They're all broken everywhere else.
I agree with that. That's awesome.
But no, I tell you, the TaylorMade Stealth line, from the driver to the irons, that whole line has been incredible. We're still selling a ton of Titleist product. That's still moving well. The new Callaway driver's been great. The new Cobra driver's been hot. It's all the usual suspects. Ping is still doing well. Mizuno. I mean, we sell a little bit of all of it, and it's all great. But what's so really great about fitting and what we like to do is that, like, I had a guy in right before I came on the show, did a iron and driver with him. It was like, hey, my last 3 sets of clubs have been Callaway, but I'm not married to it. We ended up getting him into Titleist, and we tried everything else, but the Titleist worked the best, and he's super excited. It's like he can see past what he's had his history and know that the future might be better with a different brand. So we just like to be open and be brand agnostic and work with our clients to get the right stuff for them, and we really don't care too much which brand it is. But, yeah, I mean, if you press me really hard, I would say TaylorMade's kind of been the hot club this year.
Alan, thank you so much, my man, for giving us some of your time here on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. We'll talk to you next Wednesday, find out the latest and greatest things happening at Golf Plus. If you need to get fitted, you need to go to the shops at Edgewater. Check out Golf Plus. Alan Watson will take care of you. Alan, thanks so much, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Y'all are awesome. See you soon.
Yes, sir. We're going to take a quick time out. I am really stoked about this next segment. We've got a up-and-coming ball player from Bay County here, from North Bay Haven. I'm talking about Chris Bibbs in the building, coming up next.
ESPN Northwest West Florida. Here's what's happening.
Thanks for nominating the Afternoon Underdogs as David Hayes for Best Radio Personality in Bay County. Vote for David and ESPN Northwest Florida in the Best of Bay with the Panama City News Herald. Voting's going to run July 1st through the 18th. For more details, keep listening to ESPN Northwest Florida, and remember, for a brighter tomorrow, vote David Hayes in 2022.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Is that the sound of an ooey gooey, cheesy, crunchy slice of P-I-Z-Z-A? Obviously. But as good as that sounds, we think it can get even better. Oh yeah, that's the sound of a freshly opened fizz-filled Pepsi. The only thing that can take this flavor medley of crunchy dough, mouth-watering cheese, and savory sauce to the next level. How about another bite? Pepsi and pizza sound like a match made in heaven and taste even better. Pizza, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Mid-South Lumber has new owners. Stop in and visit Ann and Dave. They're on site every day to make you a priority. They're not the typical big box store, and customer service is their #1 priority. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years. Transform your home with James Hardy Siding. Durability, fire resistant, sustainability. James Hardy Color Plus is virtually maintenance-free and comes with a 30-year warranty. Mid-South Lumber, the biggest little lumber yard in Panama City.
Hi, I'm Kevin Shady with KHS & Associates. We represent private insurance providers using multiple nationwide PPO networks for pre-negotiated discounted rates and no copays, no co-insurance, and no deductibles. If you're interested in a quote, give us a call or text 502-386-1128 and provide us your zip code and the ages and gender of those to include. Call or text us at 502-386-1128. That's 502-386-1128.
From the Florida-Bama line to the Gulf of Mexico, from the Upper Grand Lagoon to McKenzie Park, we are live and local.
Whether you like it or not, you have a gift.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, live from the Rib Crib Radio Room, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the Rib Crib Radio Room. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes, along with Austin Siegel, Brian Haddad, and our guest of 4:30, Chris Bibbs. My man, what's going on, dude?
Thank you. I'm doing good. Just happy to be here. I appreciate you getting me on here.
No doubt, man. So I wasn't able to come in person to check out a majority of the games, but best believe I heard about you. Yes, and all of my Rusty Cook, good friend of mine, coach of Bay High, bragged on you on this radio show. So stoked to have you here in the studio with us. Give me your thoughts on your final season and how far you guys were able to get, especially talking about a program who is kind of coming from under the radar.
Yes, sir. Our season this year is really the spotlight of my career so far, my most proud moment of my career so far, coming from my sophomore season when we had one of the worst seasons in our program history, and sticking together and staying there, and then to my junior year where we had an okay season. Statistically, it was one of our better seasons, but we wanted more. We knew our goal, and coming to my senior season, making this historic season was great. I had to just shout out my teammates. I had such great teammates. They kept me through many times. I wanted to leave, go here, go there, but I fought through with them. I really appreciate them, and man, it's just been a great year. Before the season, in second period, I remember me and Mari, shout out, we would talk about district championship every single day, so we had that goal in our mind, and to achieve it is crazy. Anyone can just speak goals, but to actually live it and play it is great.
Oh man, that's so real, bro. And I love to hear that, because with school choice and all of that being like an available option, what kind of kept you there at North Bay Haven?
Definitely the academic standpoint. It's a definitely great academic school. You want to go there. It's more of a challenge. Got to be willing to play athletically and keep your grades up academically. So it's definitely a challenge. You just have to plan ahead and move at a little bit of a faster pace. So I appreciate North Bay Haven. I'm glad that I attended that school.
Dude, that is so dope, man. And I can tell we've talked what now? We've had a couple of messages, right? But messages they can never give you the real deal, the real scoop of a person, of an individual. And now we've talked for a couple of minutes here. I can already tell what you said right there. Like, okay, this dude is the real deal. We're talking with Chris Bibbs, who is a standout at North Bay Haven on his way to Coastal Alabama. What is the expectations for you going from high school to college ball?
The expectations are definitely high. I definitely took a risk. Definitely going JUCO. There's a couple universities that wanted me, but I took the risk and to go JUCO to go my 1 or 2 years to transfer to that next university that really wanted me. So it's definitely a risk and an expectation that was set for me, but I'm willing to work, and I think I'm going to be where I want to be.
What was one of your? Do you have a question? Because I know that I see you looking intrigued, man.
I was
and if I'm talking to Chris Bibbs, we're intrigued.
And here's
right?
my chance.
Yeah, exactly.
I was curious. Did it's obviously not that far away, about 2.5, 3 hours. They're just north of Mobile. Was that a factor, maybe in comfortability at least?
Definitely. I'm really close to my mom. Yeah. I'm an only child with her, so not going too far was a goal. But I didn't really want that to affect my decision heavily. But it definitely played a part in it. Yes, sir.
I love that, man. What was your biggest takeaway? I don't even want to get into fondest memory, but your biggest takeaway of your decision in sticking it out with North Bay Haven.
Definitely. Like you said, just sticking it out. I came in my freshman year. I was immediately on varsity. I wasn't the best, but I wasn't really big on basketball.
You weren't the best.
I wasn't.
I ain't believe that.
I wasn't big on basketball. Then I go into my sophomore year. A lot of pressure's put on me. I'm a sophomore. I'm the best player on our team. And that really just pushed me. And we didn't have a great season. We actually had like one of our worst statistical seasons, and that really messed with me. You know, it made me down, made me reconsider basketball. But me pushing through, I had to push through. Just shout out to my mom. She really helped me through that heavily. She kept me pushing. Me and her bond is just very close. And then my junior year, like I said, we had a good year, but we knew what we wanted. We wanted to be district champions. We wanted to be in that spot. We wanted to compete for a state champion. So after our junior season, we got straight back to work. That off season, we worked harder than ever. Me and my teammates, Coach Scott, he stuck us out with it. He was strict on us, and he's a big part why we had such a great season. People don't see it. People just, talk about, the players, but Coach Scott and our Coach Danny and our coaching staff, big part. Coach Paley, get us in a weight room, big part of it.
A lot of people love to give credit to the head coaches, but they don't have the idea. Players understand this guy's a college football player. You're about to be a college basketball player. They understand the importance of the coaches who are not named, the coaches who, some of these coaches may not even be on staff sometimes. You know what I'm saying? They ain't getting a single dollar bill. But here they are coming through because they care about the future of our sports here. So first off, we're talking with Chris Bibbs here, right here in the Rib Crib Radio room. He was a standout on North Bay Haven. He's about to be a standout at Coastal Alabama. So stoked to watch your career move on, and appreciate you giving us your time here today. Give me an NBA player that you looked up to, or was there one?
Definitely Steph Curry. That's my favorite.
Steph!
Just won his 4th ring. Definitely.
Let's go.
Definitely. Honestly, my mom's favorite player is Kobe, and I didn't really get to watch up and see him play. But after his death, rest easy, it made me look back on his career, and he's been a big influence in the last couple of years on my game. You go into my room, I have a bunch of posters and things of him. Like, I'm not the biggest Kobe fan, but his work ethic and everything about him really, really stood out to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you why here in Bay County, like, we are raising great people. We're raising great athletes. We're talking about individuals right now, man. You're giving me the real spill of Chris Bibbs right now, and this is awesome. This really is. It's weird to say, but it's almost like I'm going to leave this interview looking up to this kid.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying? What's the toughest part for you, Chris, of juggling athletics and school?
Definitely planning ahead. Like I said, our school is very fast-paced.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get caught behind. You don't want to have your head in the wrong place at the wrong time. You got a big playoff game this day, but you have a big test coming up. So you definitely need to speak with your teachers ahead, take those tests early, study a little bit more harder before practice. It's really big. You don't want to get caught up in that stuff and have your mind not in the right place. So that's really big.
Coming from, and maybe all of us in here have been high school athletes at one point in time. I know you have. I know I have.
Somewhat.
I would imagine that you have been.
Yeah.
I never, not one single time, ever went to my teacher and said, "Can I take that test early?" It was more or less like,
do I have to take that test?
Yeah. Can you give me some love and teach? Let me give so exemplary example here by Chris Bibbs. When do you work harder? Off season or in season?
That's tough. I want to say off season, but when during our season, we are really getting it in. Like, our practices are competitive.
There's tangibles there at that point in time.
Our in season, we're like, I am on all my teammates. I'm texting the group chat every day. No one's missing.
So you're a leader without saying that you're a leader.
I am. I don't want none of my teammates to miss this practice, because when we win, I don't want them to miss out on that as well. So our practices are so big. So I say in our season, because we get a little heated, but it's only just to push us to get us better, and I just appreciate them for pushing me.
The competitive spirit comes out. Man, Chris Bibbs, it's been such a joy. We still got about 2 or 3 minutes here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm curious. So going to the next level, obviously, whole nother level of basketball, the best of the best generally, and older people again. You're not going to be the old one on the court again. What are some of the strengths of your game right now? But more than that, what are you looking at that you probably need to improve the most on going to the next level?
Yes, sir. I'm glad you said that. So recently, Coastal Alabama, my college that I'm attending, we had a showcase last week in Columbus, Georgia. We went 2-1, which is pretty good. We had very minimum practices, but me playing in those, I realized a lot about the difference between high school and college, the speed, the pace, the strength. But the main thing is strength.
Yeah.
I have to get my weight up for sure. Those boys are big and they're fast, so definitely get quicker on my feet.
Yeah.
Just improving the, maybe not skill part of my game, but the physical part of my game. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
I love it, man. I'm so stoked to watch you throughout your growth here. I've been keeping up with you, but, from this point on, it's a totally different relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm rooting for you the same way I'm rooting for every single athlete in this county. But you're a little bit different from some. I've talked to Valerie Solorio. Wow. Mindset reminds me of where your mindset is. You know what I'm saying? The eye is on the prize. Your mama, your dad, like whoever, they raised you right. You know what I'm saying? Like you've got respect. You've got everything that you need to hit the next level. I'm stoked for you, bro. I really am, man. And thanks so much for giving us some time. And maybe before you head over to Coastal Alabama, we can get you back on.
Yes, sir, for sure.
Hey, man, that is some dope stuff. I had so much fun with Chris Bibbs, North Bay Haven standout on his way to Coastal Alabama. That's Chris Bibbs, y'all. Make sure you follow him on Twitter, Facebook, wherever it is that you do your social media presence. Chris Bibbs is there. Oh, man, I'm stoked for you, bro. We're going to be right back, y'all.
104.3 ESPN.
Lulu's Bar and Resto at Laketown Wharf is the perfect place to eat, drink, and relax. Enjoy a delicious dinner lakeside made with special ingredients. The kitchen is open late until 1 a.m. After dark, the good vibes keep flowing at Lulu's with themed parties and live DJs every single night. Lulu's Bar and Resto, open 7 days a week from 2 p.m. until 2 a.m. with availability for private events and birthday parties. For a complete menu and party schedule, follow Lulu's PCB on Facebook and Instagram.
Hi folks, it's Tracy with Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Did you know that we have a master jeweler right here in the store? That's right, he has over 30 years experience in the art of repairing jewelry. Most repairs are done within 2 business days, so don't send your jewelry off for 6 weeks. Bring it to us at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. We size rings and solder chains. We can reset your diamond into new settings and even custom design. You'll get your jewelry back quickly and looking as good as new. Tracy's Fine Jewelry, Bay County's trusted jeweler for over 45 years.
Since 1955, Buddy Gandy's Seafood Market has been providing their customers with the freshest seafood in Panama City. Whether you're cooking something small or hosting a big get-together, Buddy Gandy's has you covered with a variety of fish, oysters, shrimp, crab legs, live blue crabs, a steam bar, and more. They'll even clean your catch for you. Open 7 days a week near the intersection of Beck Avenue and Highway 98. Don't forget to mention 104.3 ESPN for your 10% discount. Visit Buddy Gandy Seafood Market on Facebook.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is your radio home for live and local sports coverage. For the most high school and college sports from right here in our local area, it's the Coach James Hale Show, weekday mornings 7 till 9. Then the ride home is alive and kicking with the Afternoon Underdogs, covering the gamut of sports. Plus, the radio home for the defending world champion Atlanta Braves. Your local sports station is ESPN Northwest Florida. Damsel in Defense presents Defend Your Stance. Got an opinion? Time to defend it. It's the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. A little bit of Leonard Skinner here. Ooh, I clicked that a little bit
hard
too
out
fast.
there.
Yeah, right. Oh my goodness, this is Defend Your Stance, but I don't want to. Yeah, these guys, man, they're so far off. I don't even want to defend a stance right now because we're going to get into that. But that was really cool for me to have a guy, you know what I mean? On the same day, I've got a guy who's heading out to McPherson, Kansas. McPherson. I'm sorry. I always say McPherson. It's McPherson, Kansas. And then Chris Bibbs heading out to Coastal Alabama. Randy Pittman, who is a junior tight end for the Mosley Dolphins right now, is going to be a senior this year, heading out to Florida State, or is committed to Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming in the building tomorrow. I believe we're going to have Austin, you coming in tomorrow?
Yes, I will be.
Yes, sir, man. So big shout out to Austin. Big shout out to Brian Haddad for giving me some of your time as well. Sure. We got a text earlier from, I believe it was Ryan Warren, who said, "Oh, Brian Haddad on the Afternoon Underdogs. That is good." No, for real though, it's good stuff. So let's get into some Defend Your Stance. This Saturday and Sunday they're going to be in Pensacola. Let's get into some start bench cut here. Mike Vick, Lamar Jackson, Randall Cunningham. I'm more interested to hear Brian's answer on this one than anyone else's. Like, forget my own answer. Let's hear Brian's. What you got? Mike Vick, Lamar Jackson, Randall Cunningham, start bench cut.
You just want me to show my age bias here?
No, I want the truth.
God. I know this sounds crazy because he's won an MVP. I'd probably cut Lamar. I really would. I love Vic's game. But Randall Cunningham was so cutting edge when he did and he was so smooth. And I also saw Randall Cunningham, he had a 91-yard punt one time. They did a weird, well, because it was a very They were back
91 yards.
No,
though. We're talking about 9 yards off of a football field.
Yeah. Now, granted, we were on AstroTurf fields back
Oh,
then.
it don't matter. I don't care. We're talking about 91 yards.
They were backed up. They didn't want to bring the punter in. They did kind of one of the little flop plays or whatever like that. But yeah, and that ball rolled forever. Because of my age bias, I'm going to start Randall Cunningham. I loved what that guy did, and people need to go back and watch some of his highlights.
They do. Because I'm a guy who was benefited enough to, or blessed enough to watch that guy.
A bench cut is hard, but Michael Vick's talent level to me was just off the chart. I'll have Vick on the bench and I'll cut Lamar.
Yeah. So we'll let Austin get there next as a college football player. My answer is going to be opposite of where Brian is.
Sure.
I'm going to start Vick. I'm going to bench Cunningham, and then same way though. From what I've seen from Randall Cunningham, I would have no problem starting him over Michael Vick. Yeah. The difference is I did get to see what Mike Vick brought to the table. So I would start Vick, I would bench RC Randall Cunningham, and then I would cut Lamar Jackson. No disrespect to Lamar because dude's fantastic.
Yeah, this is this is a really tough start bench cut, but I was never, obviously, I wasn't alive when Cunningham was playing. I have seen like highlights and stuff, and he was crazy. Like he's insane, and I've used him in like the Madden video game before. Like it's cool, you know. And he was a little bit ahead of his time. It looked like the type of player he was would have fit today's game a lot better than his era.
Kind of like Fran.
And same thing. Like those guys would have benefited so much more if they were born like 20 years later. But just off of that, I would start Vic because Vic was like when I was like a kid growing up, like watching TV. I just watched him like
idol.
And I used him in like Madden 07 when he was like the greatest video game character ever. Like that. Now that's the Vic I think of that I'm like, yeah, you can't.
That's a segment
you can't
right
top
there.
That. Like
greatest video game character ever. Now obviously number one is going to be Bo Jackson.
Oh, Bo Jackson, the original
Tecmo Bowl. Bo Jackson. But there is some other athletes who end up being unstoppable as well in their own games.
Yeah, like Vic in Madden 07 was like, you're not allowed to use them. Like, it's not fair.
Exactly. Like, if you betting money, bro,
it's not fair.
Nah, we going with the lowest of the low teams here.
You could cheat the game with him, but yeah, I'd start him, and then I would bench Lamar because I also think like obviously Lamar hasn't been in the league that long, but he's been like insane, and even in today's game where running quarterbacks are common, he's even more special than the regular running quarterbacks that we have. And I think that alone, like he might eventually, if he plays in the league long enough, he might pass Vic. I mean, there's a possibility if he can play well enough and get his contract figured out.
Yeah,
but
no doubt.
Yes, that's how I'd go.
Wow, that's a big one right there. Michigan State Bruce says they forgot about Mike Vick. No, not necessarily. Mike Vick just didn't come along with these start bench cuts. And this particular situation, you're talking to a Houston Oilers, Tennessee Titans fan here. So Mike Vick Warren Moon was not forgotten about. But let's be honest about it. Warren Moon did not have the wheels that these guys have. Yeah. Warren Moon had some mobility about him, but he was more of a throwing quarterback than he was a run around and get some yardage.
Yeah, the only other guy probably from pre-Vic that would be a comp in terms of their athletic ability. Well, Fran, certainly if you want to go way back, but Steve Young.
Steve Young, absolutely. Yeah. Steve Young is actually kind of lost upon in that mobility status, if you will. I'll even say because of his skin color. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're a young guy and you sit there and you're like, oh, white quarterback, like you're not going to expect what you get from Steve Young.
Well, and he was on the bench so long behind Joe Montana.
Yeah.
That he didn't have the longevity of career that a lot of these other guys had.
That's a great factor as well.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. He really was.
Man, all right, so one more here. This is brought to you by Emerald Coast Damsel Independent Damsel Pro for Damsel in Defense. They will be in Pensacola this June 25th and the 26th, Saturday and Sunday. We pity the fool who doesn't use our tool. One's got to go. Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Mike Evans. One's got to go. We're going to start with Austin Siegel.
I would go One of them has to go, right?
Yeah, that's the name of
the hardest.
The name of the game here.
I mean, if I could keep all four, I'd keep all four. But
all right,
if one has to go,
has to go.
I would go with Diggs. I'd probably let Diggs go.
I'm so surprised it's not Mike Evans in a sense, just because he does so much and gets so little recognition for what he does.
I mean, I recognize what Mike Vick's special because you have to almost bracket him every play.
Yeah.
Because of his size. I mean, you can't. Most corners are not that size.
Yeah.
If any of them. So you can't just have a man-on-man coverage and go, okay, we're not going to worry about that. It's not. You have to have a safety over the top, otherwise he'll just run a deep ball, throw it up, and it's going to be an easy catch every single time. So you can't replace that. I mean, you need him.
Mike Evans is the reason Johnny Manziel got his name. Yes. Continue on, Brian. Yes. Where are you at?
Evans would be the first one I'd keep. I love his game. You know, Hill's kind of a gamble. His upside's higher than any of them, but I don't. There's things about Hill's game I don't love. I'd probably keep him though. It's got to be Adams or Diggs, just to be different.
You go Adams just to be different because he said Diggs. Yeah. So I'll go with Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
On I'll die on this hill. I hope. I'm an Alabama fan. Yeah. I hope Tua Tagovailoa gets it going. Do I believe it?
Sure.
I was one of the. No, I don't.
Got to see it.
Yeah, exactly. I was one of the first people to say, like, I just don't believe in this kid's game at the NFL level. You can't make it in this league, in one of the premier leagues in the SEC. Yeah. And now you're going to the NFL, and they've given you every single facet that every quarterback in the world would love to have. I just don't believe in him getting it done this year.
Yeah.
Or any other year for that matter. So, for that reason, I'll get rid of Tyreek Hill, and we're going to move it on to the second hour of the Afternoon Underdogs. Thank you guys for riding with us. Man, this has been a pleasure of a show for me today.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. This is Braves country.
This one's going supersonic.
Tonight, the Atlanta Braves wrap up their series with the San Francisco Giants. The Atlanta Braves will send Charlie Morton to the mound. First pitch at 6:20. Coverage starts at 6 right after the Afternoon Underdogs on your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. It's 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Weather forecast for this afternoon, mostly sunny, heat advisory. It'll be around 97, feel like temperature 105. Northwest wind at 10, water temperature in the Gulf 86. Mostly clear in the mid to upper 70s tonight, mostly sunny Thursday near 99, and showers and thunderstorms Friday. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Hear that? That's the plumpest, juiciest hot dogs you've ever seen getting their grill on. But we both know what'll make it sound even better. Oh yeah, it's a Pepsi to go with your hot dog. Because when you're chomping on America's favorite meal, relish, mustard, and onions perfectly blending into a crescendo of flavor, there's only one thing that makes everything about that moment better. A cold, refreshing Pepsi. See what I mean? It's like music to my ears. Hot dogs. Better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
At Slim Chickens, we're known for our fresh, hand-breaded tenders, perfectly fried wings, great craft sandwiches, and more. We believe in the power of a shared meal, served in a friendly atmosphere by the best team around. And we're looking for motivated members to join our team. For a chance to work in a fun, fast, casual, friendly environment, text 3351 to 31063 to apply. Slim Chickens, Lynn Haven, Panama City, Pensacola, Fort Walton Beach,
and coming soon to Callaway.
We're your home for live sports. WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana. Powered by Pepsi. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Transmission starts in 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting from the Red Crib Radio Room. The Afternoon Underdogs are
We are live. This is hour number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs. Braves tonight, 6:20. A heck of a game last night with a little bit of fireworks last night. 12-10, even in a loss last night. But you got Charlie Morton on the mound tonight. 6:20 for the first pitch. 6 o'clock for the coverage start, and also join us on 4th of July. Lots of fun for kids, live music, and a parade. Fireworks display at 9:30 over beautiful St. Andrews Bay, sponsored by Destination PC, the City of Panama City, and, of course, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Now, Austin Siegel. We were talking about scout team yesterday, its importance, and, you know, what that brings to a team. Today, we're going to talk stories of scout team.
Well, I mean, we were talking after the show a little bit, and I was kind of like making a joke to you. Like, I was only on a scout team for 1 year, but just that 1 year, I have so many stories. Like, and some of them were like related a little bit, like not necessarily like, directly related with scout team, but like, I mean, it was just stories that from practice and funny stuff as well. And just over my 1 year being on scout team, and plus obviously like the other 3 years that I was at Waldorf, I was aware of what was going on with the scout team because, I mean, I talked to those guys, and sometimes you see it on film. It's kind of funny, but one of the things I wanted to kind of share is this kind of funny story. When I was a freshman, our defensive coordinator, his name was Coach Keith Jordan. He's actually a legend. Like, if you're really familiar with college coaching, he's been everywhere. He used to be when he came to Waldorf, he was with the University of Minnesota. He was their linebackers coach, and he was part of the and I mean, that was like toward the end of his career when he came to Waldorf. Like, he was at that point, he's like 65 years old and just legend. Like, he played football with leather helmets and stuff. And he used to tell us that we were soft because of it. He's like, oh, back when I played, we didn't have a helmet, you know. But
back when I played, there were no penalties.
Yeah. He'd say stuff like that. Yeah, he thought we were soft because we had helmets and pads and whatever, you know. But
that makes it fun, though, right?
Yeah, it's safe. You need it. Like, I want to be able to like read my name when I'm like 50. Like, but
I was about to get into something cruel and dark with CTA, but let's not go to those points.
Yeah, we won't go down that road, but. He actually crossed paths with my dad a couple, like coaching JUCO ball and stuff. But when I was a freshman, there was a practice. So we have morning meetings during fall camp, and then you got 2 practices that day and meetings in between, and your whole day is taken up. Well, we had a 6 a.m. meeting, and there was this freshman defensive lineman. He was actually from Alabama. I don't remember what town.
Wrote that.
But I want to say it was a smaller town in Alabama, but. I don't remember his actual name, but we just called him Pork Chop because he looked like a midget Mark Henry. Like he was like Mark Henry, but if he was like 5'8",
like world weightlifting champion Mark Henry.
Picture Mark Henry.
I met Mark Henry when I was younger. So.
Oh yeah. So picture him huge, just
but 5'8".
Shrink him down to 5'8".
Yeah, shrink him down to 5'8", and that's Mark Henry.
Yeah, give him a big old belly.
Holy cow!
Yeah. So this guy, he was a walk-on defensive tackle, funny dude, and I mean, obviously with a name like Pork Chop, you have to be funny.
If not, then
you got to live up to that name.
Turn into bacon or something.
Yeah. So he missed morning meetings, just didn't show up, and as a freshman and you're a walk-on. That's a death sentence. Like, you can just goodbye, you know. Well, we get to practice. He shows up for practice, which was a shock to us because we just assumed maybe they call it taking the midnight train. We just assumed he took the midnight train and just left, which happens all the time. In the middle of the night, guys will just like be laying in their bed like, I can't do this. Football sucks. Like, I can't do this.
Really?
Just pack their stuff and leave all the time.
That's actual?
All the time. Like, it happens.
And y'all call that?
We roll into
obviously,
camp.
if you got a name for it.
We'll roll into camp with 150 guys, and by the end of the first week, 50 of them will be gone.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I put a pause real quick on Austin Siegel here. This is why college athletics are so hard. We're talking, and I don't want to have any disdain towards the NIA, but we're talking about NAIA football. It's still too tough for some of these participation trophy kids these days.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's funny. Like every day you'll come to the meeting room, you're like, oh,
where'd he go?
Little smaller today, I guess. We got about 20 less people here. Like, where'd everybody go?
Our linebacker crew is under a ton now.
Yeah, look at that. We got 20 guys now instead of 25. Like, it's cool. More reps. But no, so he shows up to practice, and we're in like our little defensive huddle, and Coach Jordan, he looked over at Pork Chop. He goes, son, where were you this morning? And Pork Chop looks at him and goes, Coach, I was tired, so I just figured I'd sleep in for the meeting and then come to practice. And Coach Jordan looked at him. And now, side note, Coach Jordan had a pacemaker in his heart already at this point.
And wore leather helmets back in the day.
Had 2 open heart surgeries.
So and wore leather helmets.
He's like, his body's like destroyed. I mean, you could tell he played football way too long. Like,
he's still waking up on time and getting to film.
Every day screaming, yeah. He used to make jokes to us like that if he just rolled over and died, he wanted us to pull him off the side of the field and then keep practice going, because he said he's like, I'll be fine. The ambulance will revive me. Like, and I don't think he was joking when he said that. But,
I love
so he looks at Pork Chop and he goes, oh, you were tired? And Pork Chop's like, yeah. He was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. He said, I've died twice and I'm still here. And we all looked at each other, and I'm a freshman. I'm like, this is like my 3rd practice.
You ain't even on Pork Chop's level yet.
I'm like looking around like, this is college football? Like, my coach has died twice, and I'm sitting here like, what is going on? And then obviously Pork Chop ended up leaving a couple days later.
Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah.
That's wild. That story number 2. But before you get into story number 2, that's so crazy to me. I need to go coach college ball, because like I died whenever I was born or whatever. Me and my mom both didn't have a heartbeat or whatever, and so they brought my dad into the room or whatever and was like, you have to choose one, and then all of a sudden, like, you know what I'm saying?
It's like both out of a movie. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those things like me, like I have no recollection or idea of the severity of that and all that, but hearing Coach's story, maybe I need to go there and revitalize some of these youngins, man.
Change your life. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
well, give me another story, though, man, because I'm loving this.
Yeah, the other, another funny, this is one of my favorite memories of all time. Like, the first thing because I lived with this guy for 4 years. He was a defensive end that we had. He was from a little small town in Iowa. And when I say small town, I mean like small. Like, it was 500 people. And his high school actually didn't have enough boys in the high school to play high school football.
Really?
So they have a special division called 8-man football, where they play with 8 players instead of 11. And all the rules are the same. Nothing's different. The field is just 80 yards instead of 100.
Maybe that's what we were trying to get into at Panama City Christian rather than.
They might have
I think
it
I
down
said
here in
7,
Florida.
man.
I'm not
7
sure.
on 7.
Yeah.
A lot of states don't have it, but they might have it in Florida now that I think about it. It's just not a big, like, there's not many of them.
It's not a big
In the Midwest, it's huge because there's a lot of small towns.
Right.
So he played 8-man football, and when he got to Waldorf, his 8-man coach he was just some guy that like said, oh yeah, I'll coach the team. Like, it wasn't really a guy that was football smart or anything.
Yeah.
They didn't have plays. They didn't have anything. So when he got to college, it was a wake up call for him. Like, oh wait, we have like plays I need to know. Like, I need to know techniques and stuff. And so he obviously, as a freshman, he was learning. And well, both as sophomores, we were on scout team because I redshirted that year, and he was still trying to like learn how to play college football, not high school football. And there was an offensive lineman who was one of our top recruits that we signed. He was I think he was ranked like top 10 in the state of Iowa as offensive lineman, but he had like a lot of anger issues and off the field issues that kept him from being signed to like Iowa State, like schools that he actually should have been playing at. I mean, he was a really good offensive lineman. Just he had like some issues that he needed to kind of figure out, and a little bit of immaturity too. But well, they were lining up against each other in practice, and I remember laughing, going, "Oh man, this might be bad." Like, because you got a kid who's still learning how to play defensive end, and then you've got him going against one of our top recruits, who is a year younger, but he's so much more developed.
Yeah.
Like, I was like sitting there thinking, "Oh, this is going to be real rough." And we have a card that they show us, and on the card as a scout team defense, you have
right, left,
it
center.
tells you exactly what you need to do, and you need to do it exactly like that because that's what the defense that we're facing that week's going to do, and it's very important for the offense to get a look at.
How crucial is that to the scout team to do exactly what they're told?
Well, because if you don't do what the offense is going to see on Saturday, they're not going to be ready.
What's
for
the point?
It defeats the whole. There's no point. You might as well just not even do anything. You might as well just let them block you because it's not going to be realistic. Well, this particular play, the scout team defense was having a hard time. Like, they were moving the ball on us, and our coach wanted us to just kind of let loose and play a little bit. So he said, hey, here's the card. Here's your job. Yeah, I mean, this is the gap you should be in, but, if you need to make a move, make a move.
If you need to hit C instead of B,
win the
do what
rep.
you got to do.
Beat your man, and as a defensive end, he was going to, make a move.
Because surprises happen in games as well.
Yeah, they're not going to every single time go where they're supposed to go. They're not robots. So my roommate, he kind of looked at me and winked at me, and I'm like, oh, he's going to do something crazy. And at this, I was just dropping into his own coverage, and I knew it was a run play by their formation, so I wasn't really worried. I was just going to watch him. Like,
you're a sophomore at this time, right?
I'm redshirted, so it doesn't matter what I do, really. I'm not going to play. I'm already redshirted, so I'm going to enjoy the show. Whatever he's about to do is going to be hilarious.
Right.
So he goes to take a step into the gap to his left, which is where he's supposed to go, and he cuts out right. And the offensive lineman falls on his face. And this is one of our top recruits, I'm going to remind you. So, that shouldn't happen.
Never.
He gets a sack, and our coach looks at the offensive lineman and just, he had a big old wad of chew in his mouth. He, spit the whole wad out, and he was like, run it again. And we're like, oh, okay. So we line up again, and my roommate looks at me and winks again.
Oh, no.
He goes to act like he's doing the same move, like he fakes.
And then he goes the opposite way.
And then did the opposite. The guy fell again. 2 plays in a row now. He's beaten this
He's
starter.
made him look silly.
And our offensive coordinator literally he's also our head coach. He got so furious. He shut down everybody. He goes, look, nobody goes except you two. Just you two.
Yeah, just them.
And so I'm like, oh, this is
and
really
y'all are
bad.
back there drinking water again, or
no,
y'all had to watch.
We're all laughing because the offensive lineman at this point was already starting to lose his
he had
bit.
the yips.
He's hitting himself in the head, and he's crying like this is a grown man. And I'm like, we're laughing because we're scout team guys. We don't even care.
I ain't even bullying.
You're playing on Saturday.
It is what it is.
You're not. You're playing on Saturday. You can't block us. What do you? We're laughing at them.
What a fantastic point.
So we realize, all right, this is going to get real rough here because it's just them two going. So it's like a one-on-one now.
It's almost Oklahoma, but it's not Oklahoma.
And he didn't have anywhere. He already went left. He already went right. So he's kind of running out of options here.
Yeah.
He winked at me again, and I'm like, oh, he has another idea.
No, what
so
in the
this
world?
third play, he engages with him and did a push-pull where you use his momentum because he knew the guy was angry.
Yeah.
And he was going to come off the ball hard.
And
he threw him down on the ground and beat him again.
Oh, no. Coach is
this
like,
is the best part
get
of the
out
story.
of here, kid.
Our coach threw his headset. He's flipping out. He goes, run it again. Those two have to go again. And he literally goes, he looked at my roommate and goes, you do nothing except run into him. And I'm like, oh, snap. Okay. So, he wants him to bull rush him, basically.
Yeah. 100%.
He comes off my roommate looked at me, and this is when I realized it was going to be bad. He looked at me, shook his head, and goes, no.
no wink this time.
I'm done. He's like, hey, it's over. And I'm like, okay, well, this is going to be rough. He gets blocked, and this guy runs him 15 yards downfield. And I kept yelling at him just fall. Just fall down. Just stop letting him move you. He gets pancaked. And when I ran over, everybody's freaking out laughing because it's funny to see people get pancaked. I ran over to pick him up, and his eyes were shaking because he had a concussion.
Oh, no.
And he looked at me. He's like, where am I? Where am I? And I'm like, oh, man. And that just shows you, as a scout team guy, that's what you go through.
That's what you go through. Those are the things that you have to deal with to continue to be or to get close to the top of your game. And you can win the battle 3 times. But on that 4th time,
he wasn't meant to win. Yeah.
Who knows what happens. Man, what a story. Well, we're changing the format here. We're going to go straight into Tom Mueller with PCB Coin and Cards here. I love this segment. Coming up in the next segment at 5:30, I was going to get into some who has more to prove. No, we're going straight back to the Austin Siegel.
I want to know what the 4th move would have been. That's what I want to know.
No doubt, man. All right, we'll be right back, y'all. Stick right here with us.
Northwest Florida. The Afternoon Underdogs.
On the next Afternoon Underdogs at 4:15, Alan Watson gets us up to speed on what the PGA Tour is doing to even the playing field versus Live Golf. Then special guest, local baller Chris Bibbs is in the house Wednesday at 4:30 to discuss his next move. Plus, we're taking your calls at 850-215-6290.
4 to 6 weekdays. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
For the forecast for this afternoon, mostly sunny, heat advisory. It'll be around 97, feel like temperature 105. Northwest wind at 10, water temperature in the Gulf 86. Mostly clear in the mid to upper 70s tonight. Mostly sunny Thursday near 99, and showers and thunderstorms Friday. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Start your summer adventures in a new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Stop by today and discover why everyone is talking about the award-winning Kia. Now offering 1.9% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2022 Kia Soul. Cruise in confidence in the outgoing and adventurous 2022 Kia Soul that has the perfect balance of comfort, style, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKia.com. We make buying a car easy and give you the peace of mind you can trust.
Offer from KMF for the purchase of a new 2022 Soul with $2,165 per month per $1,000 financed in 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 7/5/22.
Did you know that fees associated with real estate closings are virtually the same from one title company to the next? So what sets South Oak Title apart? Effective communication, customer service, expertise, and technology. If you're buying or selling real estate, refinancing a residential or commercial property, tell your realtor you want to close with South Oak Title. South Oak Title, with locations across the Southeast, including Panama City Beach, Inlet Beach, Destin, and Fort Walton Beach. Visit them online at southoaktitle.com.
We want a big-time sports show. Tune in for the Afternoon Underdogs.
I'm going to send you up against the best.
Weekdays from 4 till 6.
Negative Ghost Rider.
Broadcasting from the Rip Crib Radio Room.
The need for speed.
On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Real quick join us on 4th of July. Lots of fun for kids, live music, and a parade. Fireworks display at 9:30 over the beautiful St. Andrews Bay. Sponsored by Destination PC, the city of Panama City, and 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Now it's my pleasure to bring in Todd Mueller with PCB. Coin and cards, man. This is a segment that normally, outside of the last 2-3 weeks, I'm by myself on Wednesdays. So when I have you come in, not only am I stoked to be able to knock that off of the segment sheet, but where we're headed in this world with collectibles, memorabilia, all of that good stuff. So stoked about it. Todd, welcome in, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Thank you for everybody who has me today. Appreciate you guys listening. We're here today to answer some questions because you guys left me a good one last week.
Yeah.
A good one.
You see what day I come in.
Yeah, exactly. So go ahead and ask it again, and I will get down to business.
Hey, let's get into it, and whatever else you want to discuss beyond this, but Fanatics, what could this do to the card industry?
It's a very interesting question. The funny thing is I did not go research anything. This is 100% my opinion on Fanatics. From what I've seen, what I've heard, what I've talked to people in the industry about. I think the biggest thing is that Fanatics is a good thing. It really is a good thing, believe it or not. They were smart, first of all. Let's talk about Topps for a second. They had offered, I believe, $1 billion for Topps like a year or two ago. And Topps said, why? I mean, we own the Major League license. Why would we do that? And then they ran a sneaky deal. Not really sneaky, nothing wrong, but they ran a sneaky deal, went out and got the license, way overpaid for it, but not really, because they saved themselves $500 million buying Topps back. Yes, so that's actually what happened. So with that having been said, They own all the licenses now. Now, the reason they wanted all the licenses was not to put the card manufacturers out of business.
It's not to put Topps, Upper Deck, Bowman.
No, they wanted it because of their apparel line. So I actually saw the CEO get on and say, look, we will be there for the hobby shops. We are not cutting you guys out because we're taking over the trading card world. And in fact, Topps isn't even going away. Topps is still going to be a brand. Panini's still going to be a brand. They're all still going to be brands. The issue with it is that are they going to sell direct to the consumer? Because they're really good at that.
They are.
Or
speaking of someone who
right.
buys from Fanatics
right,
a lot.
Exactly. Or are they actually still going to service the hobby shops? Again, quote me on this. The CEO was on CNBC and specifically said they were not going to cut the hobby shops out. So if that is the case and that's true, they are not going to start producing their own cards. They're going to keep with the lines. I wouldn't be shocked if they bought Panini, honestly, in the end. And they'll hold all the licenses and all the cards, which will turn into another conversation we're about to have, which is about licensing cards, which you had asked earlier. Is the fact of the matter is that they'll hold all the licenses, therefore we'll be able to get them in all their uniforms. So to change gears from that and say, do the cards that they produce now that are unlicensed, do they carry high values, low premiums? What do they? What's the deal with those?
Yeah, where's the median here?
Yeah, so everybody wants the NBA uniform. Everybody wants the NFL uniform, the Major League Baseball uniform on the card. They want to see their team. They want to get their autograph on that card. You know, they want the licensed stuff. However, there is still a value to unlicensed material. Panini doesn't have MLB license. Therefore, a lot of the stuff they put out, let's say Mosaic Baseball, is not going to have them in their MLB uniform. But that's okay because the fact of the matter is that they're still licensed autographs. They're still paying for the autographs. They're still certifying that that's real stuff. So it's not a deal killer on that side of the horn. So,
but if you got a base Mosaic.
But if you have a base Mosaic card, yeah, you're going to want, the Topps card, rookie card. Because
what about when it comes to a patch, though? Like an autograph, or so, not no auto, but just a patch.
Same type of deal as the auto. They had to acquire through the correct sourcing.
A COA of some sort.
Right, for the jersey or the bat or whatever it is that, the piece of football, the glove, whatever it is. They had to acquire it through that means, and therefore it's still certified. So, again, it's okay. And now with the what is it, nil?
Name it.
That they can pay for that stuff, it has brought some of the values up.
Does that help? I've heard from other people that college football cards really don't have a value.
Great question.
Does NIL help that?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Because now people are, they're themselves are a product, and it's valuable.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to think of it that way. Their autograph is valuable because now they're getting paid for that autograph. Therefore, you can't just go to, like in Mobile, they have the college football. What is that called, Brian?
The U.S. Sports Academy over there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they have the
that's a Mobile.
They have the actual
Daphne.
Tell me about that afterwards.
Yeah, and then they also have the actual college where all the college teams get together, kind of like their Pro Bowl over there.
Yeah.
The Senior Bowl. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So,
love that.
And so in the past, you could get 1 million autographs for free, no problem. And so you're right, it devalued it. You can't do that anymore. Some of these guys are not going to autograph your stuff because they're getting paid to autograph your stuff.
Wow.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
so
100%.
It does bring the value up. So
that's a good thing for card collectors.
Yes, absolutely.
In that sense.
So to wrap it around, Fanatics, Todd thinks it's a good thing, feels it's a good thing for the industry, feels that it'll get more cards out there with more logos and jerseys and all the stuff that we like to see as collectors. And then on top of it, with the NIL agreements, I think the college cards are going to do a lot better too, and a lot more collectability to it. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, not to dissuade the autograph hounds, because I think what will happen now is you'll see more personalized autographs when people go to.
And that's
they'll want to
exactly
personalize
what happens.
It.
They'll personalize. They'll say to Matt, to Brian, to David.
I do have
Does
a question.
that hurt the value?
Go ahead.
No,
it does. It does hurt the value. Yes, it does hurt the value when it's personalized. Now, take that with a grain of salt. I had a Joe DiMaggio ball come in one day, and it said to whoever it was to. That doesn't matter. It's Joe DiMaggio.
Look, if I meet somebody, I want it personalized because I want to keep it, but that's another thing.
And that's why they'll personalize.
I have a question about license cards because when I was in the biz, it was very, very rare that, I mean, everybody was licensed back then with, save for a few, I think Wild Card had come in toward the end, and they certainly with a college deal, they
Correct.
couldn't show the college uniforms.
Correct.
And personally, as a collector, I didn't like it as much, obviously, without the uniform. It did take something away from me. Now, what I'm getting into, because you've stoked this fire in me again, and I'm starting to learn about, for example, Bowman U,
Right.
new college
Bowman
football
University.
product. They can't show the college uniforms and all like that, which I don't like. However, they're a year ahead on C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young's, people like that.
But
so,
you know who started that actually is Leaf. Because Leaf has been very smart about what they've been doing. You can get high school kids, running backs, quarterbacks and stuff, and their first Leaf card. Now Patrick Mahomes had some cards out there that would be considered somewhat of a rookie card.
Like a Texas Tech card, but...
Yeah, but or even him in his high school uniform, let's say, where he autographed a card, a low serial number, that may be an $800 card, but you have his NFL rookie card autographed, first-year issue type of card from 3 years later, and you have that certified, and it comes like a PSA 10, you got a $25,000 card. So you got to understand, it does matter, to answer, again, back to that question, it does matter if they're in their NFL uniform, their MLB uniform, and things like that. So keep that in mind.
Can we create value for local broadcasters to get their cards?
The David Hayes one-of-one.
I was going to say, aren't you up for some awards or something like that?
For an award, but it's not me.
But-
it is the Afternoon Underdogs.
No, it's you. We all know what you did.
It's the Afternoon
But I do
Underdogs,
have this-
Why are you so red?
I do have this question.
I love the station. And I love our show that we've got
It's
going
not
on.
specific investor advice per se, but I do have this question about what we were just talking about. So in that model, obviously a year from now, there's going to be NFL draft product on these guys.
Absolutely.
Without going too deep into it, and obviously it's an opinion, is the next year the time to move on these college guys? Like you want to move these now before
Absolutely.
that new product comes out.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of prospecting that goes on, and that's a real big key in the industry right now. I have people come in every day who say, you know, I like Joe Burrow, or I like this or like that. But you'd be surprised. Some people come in and like, I'm looking for X, and they'll load up. They'll buy 20 of what I've got in an X person, because they feel when the season comes around, that person's going to be hot.
It's like a stock market.
It's like a stock market.
It's
of
very,
players.
very similar.
It's very much like the stock market, guys. So you got to understand that they're treating it a lot like that.
Dude, this is why I love this segment. If you're not listening on Wednesdays at 5:15, I'll say it again. You're doing it absolutely wrong. We got Tom Mueller in with PCB coin and cards. First off and foremost, get out to PCB coin cards, and I've got a great testament in front of me here, and Brian Haddad, who can tell you how awesome that store is.
Yeah, Brian came by, I believe it was yesterday or the day before. Monday, and graced us with his presence, and I'm super excited to see him. We talked cards for a little bit, and I'll let Brian talk about it, but we had some of the stuff he needed, and hopefully you guys will visit us and hear what he has to say.
Well, it for me, as someone who was in the business for a few years, but also a long-time collector, but I haven't done anything in almost 20 years. And, almost 30 years, I guess. And for me, just being around it has revitalized my interest. I've gone back. I've had so much joy just looking back at different things that I had. There's an investment part of it, and I've looked at a few figures, but just seeing it again reminds me of where I was when I got it. Things like that, just seeing my favorite players again, what I have, what I don't have. I mean, I went in just Monday, I've looked through some stuff, and I've got some strategies in play for long term, and I've been talking to Todd a lot about it. I went in and just got storage boxes because I want to organize things and do that. It's been fantastic, and the service there is outstanding.
Now, we got a call. Maybe, was it yesterday Michigan Eddie called in?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Michigan Eddie, he's
he is
in.
back on the line right now,
All
and I
right.
just wanted to say that he gave you guys a resounding review. Michigan Eddie, you're on the air. Go ahead, bud.
Go Blue Trucks here. It's Urban Guns 20 back in. Hey, Todd, what's up, brother?
What's going on? How are you, bro?
I'm doing outstanding. Just headed back for Revival at Central Baptist. Headed back from Niceville to Panama City. Anyway, So getting back what Brian was saying, Eddie and Kentley want to go to your store every day. They ask me every day, Dad, can we go back up to the store? And whether it's Pokemon, baseball, football, I mean, it's soaking that fire back into our youth when I was a kid. You know, every day they want to go back up to your store. And hopefully this weekend we'll make it back up there. But I'm calling in. You're talking about the college player cards. So Eddie got some cards for Christmas. It was, I think, Panini, the blaster boxes with all of the dudes in their college uniforms, like Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and all that. So what you're saying is you think we should continue collecting those cards in the future sets because the NIL is going to increase their value, even if they don't have an autograph on them. And all that. That's what you're saying.
I absolutely believe that. I think that the Panini, specifically the Prism draft pick products, the Contender draft pick products, I believe are great products. I believe they have a good price point for the college players, and they have a good price point for the collector. And so I think that's very fair to say that yes, you should keep collecting them. Now, if you're talking about you're wanting high-end investment graded cards, that's not where your focus needs to be. Your focus needs to be on the full line, MLB, NBA, NFL, jersey, autograph, RPA patches, high-end cards, graded 9s and 10s. That's where the money is at. But as far as the love of it, and look, I had a slew of kids in today. We probably had our busiest day ever, and we've been open 2.5 months. There was probably 50 people there today.
One of them being Brian Waddell, who just texted in and said, "Hey, we were there today. Did business with him. Great card shop."
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a lot of fun seeing all the kids and stuff like that. But again, for them, it's not about the high end. The how much money can I make off this? It's about the fun, and they were all having a blast. They were all asking questions. I was busy straight for an hour and a half answering questions, helping the kids out, and doing all that type of stuff. So that's what the love of the game is there. Now, with that having been said, Mr. Michigan came in and had a couple, 2-3 high-end cards, very nice cards.
Out of a bunch of them, which I want to commend you on, saying other card shops, especially if they were, you know what I mean.
Sure, I understand what you're saying. Other card shops a lot of times don't take the time, and
that's exactly.
And look, I'm not a good teacher. I'm a good guy. That's all there is to it. And so I'll take the time and the effort and the patience with everybody who comes in. Doesn't necessarily mean I'll teach you anything. It just means I'll take the time and the patience with you. And I took the time with them, and not because of who he was, but because his kid is standing there looking at me saying, "Hey, I know I got some good stuff." And he was right. They do have some good stuff. Yep. And so we're going to send that stuff to get off to get graded, and we're super excited about that.
Awesome. And that's what I'm getting at is you can go to any other shop around here, and they'll probably say, "Send it all off." You know what I mean? Not at PCB coin and cards.
No. I told them exactly what they needed to know. Yeah. And again, I do everything based off of value. Now, a lot of my background's coins, and so I do a lot of coin business off of value of what the coin is and things like that, because we're also a coin shop. And so it was very important to teach them and understand, look, just because this is a beautiful coin and it looks nice or whatever, it's only worth $100. Why are you going to spend another $50 on it, and it's only going to be a $100 coin?
You're spending half on what it's worth.
What's it worth? Right. But you have a $700 card that could potentially be a $3,000 card. Yep. See, that's worth it. That's where the money's at.
And need a plan.
Michigan Eddie. Hey, thanks so much for the call, my man.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Yeah. Hey, man, I have one more question.
Yeah,
We're
go ahead.
Line. So for baseball, Bowman Chrome or Topps Chrome?
Bowman Chrome all the way. I don't even have to.
Simple.
Right.
Bowman Chrome all the way. Bowman Chrome all the way. As much as you can buy of that.
All right. Go Blue Truck Series representing Tony Spector. Love you guys. See you, man. I'm
out.
Michigan Eddie, man. I need some of those energy drinks inside of my life. All right, we're going to take a break, man. Todd, dude, you're awesome, man.
You guys are awesome.
PCB, coin and cards. You guys do such a great job for our community first and foremost.
Absolutely.
And bringing something to it's so crazy. At this point, I've got 6 or 7 friends. I think last week I was telling you 3 or 4. I've got 6 or 7 friends who are like, "Oh yeah, oh you got Todd coming on 5:15 Wednesday." Yeah. I'll make sure to tune in.
Well, let me convey. My parents are very excited that I've met you because I cleaned a lot of stuff out of their house this weekend.
Nice.
Todd Bueller, y'all, with PCB Coins and Cards. Tell them where you're at real quick.
We're at 11939 PCB Parkway. That's Back Beach for all you locals. and we're next to Florida Linens. Florida Linens in Panama City Beach, 850-320-8388. And I got one last thing to say.
Oh, yes,
before I
get
go,
into
if you
that.
guys don't mind. We actually need some help. We are growing so fast. We need an eBayer and a shipper. If you are interested in a full-time position, eBaying or shipping, and both, please hit us up. Come into the shop, ask for me. I'm Todd, and we'll talk. And maybe you'll be a fit, maybe you won't. But we'll give you a shot and see where we go.
I love it, man. This is one of my favorite segments. Make sure Wednesday, 5:15, every Wednesday, you're tuned in right here to PCB Coin and Card segment with Todd Mueller, man. He focuses on the coins. But golly, don't tell me no different because this guy knows what he's talking about. I love it. Thanks so much, Todd.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely. We'll be back in just a few, y'all.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
I actually, from the seat behind her, almost said, what do you want her to do about it right now? Why are you yelling at this woman that you had 2 previous flights where the Wi-Fi didn't work? Do you think that this person here is responsible for that? This flight attendant was so incredibly patient. I wanted to give her a round of applause. I literally wanted to apologize to her on behalf of humanity.
Greeny, weekdays 2 to 4, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Golf Plus is your premier golf shop on the Gulf Coast. Not a big box or a chain store, but a local store with golf experts to serve you. An amazing array of demo and fitting products, plus a professional repair shop that can handle anything from a basic re-grip to a full set of re-shafts and everything in between. Golf Plus has locations in Dothan and Panama City Beach to serve you. Come see him today for all your golf needs. Located next to Firefly at the shops at Edgewater. Call 850-249-2726.
Hi, I'm Bobby Lightgis with today's Car Clinic Minute. There are some things you can do with abandon by the light of the silvery moon, but driving's not one of them. When I come back, I'll tell you why you should give a hoot.
The Car Clinic Minute.
It's Bobby Lightgis Car Clinic, brought to you locally by Hewitt Tire and Auto.
Call 850-769-7323.
Your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
That's 850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
The night has 1,000 eyes, but you have just 2 that don't work as well after the sun goes down. Why are traffic deaths 4 times higher at night? 90% of drivers' reaction is based on vision, which declines significantly at night. With sunsets go powers of peripheral vision, depth perception, and color recognition. And 50-year-olds may need twice as much light as those half their age. Take it from this old owl. This is a wise move. I'm Bobby Lightgis. Like us, you'll love us.
From Mariana to Panama City, from Southport to Laguna Beach, this is the Panhandle's home for live and local sports coverage. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, live from the Rib Crib Radio Room. ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are live. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, man.
Can it just be 5:15 on Wednesday all week? Because that's the best time of my week.
Let me talk to God real quick. He said no.
Okay.
He said time needs to keep on moving on, but we can still have it once a week, 5:15 on Wednesdays.
Oh
man, tell me about your favorite thing about that. And Austin, this is kind of your first time sitting in on this, and does it rekindle a flame in you for collecting?
Yeah, I've never had a chance to listen to him on here before, just because usually around the time the show's on, I'm at practice or weights or something to do with football that I would rather listen to the show, but but yeah, no, that's awesome. Actually, I've never, I obviously I'm not around here a lot. I haven't heard of the shop yet or anything.
2.5 months they've only been here. So.
I'm probably gonna go home and tell my dad, hey, let's go look at it, because my dad, he loves memorabilia stuff, and I'm pretty interested in that stuff too. So I think it It'd be awesome, like, even if I don't even get anything, just to go look and see
That's
what he
the
has.
beauty
Like,
of it.
I mean,
right?
yeah, so that really piqued my interest, yeah.
I love it, man.
The amount, I can't even express to you guys the amount of cards I brought back that I haven't touched in 30 years. Yeah. And what I remember most about it, I was in the business working in it, but so much of what I would do is I would do the investment part so that I could collect more. Like what I went after trying to make money was so that I had more money to collect the things that I liked that may not be the high dollar stuff. It's like you talked about Alabama guys. The collection of Alabama football players that I've had through the years.
Oh man, I bet you got some Jay Barkers. You got
God.
some,
I mean, I'm
Sean Alexander. If you got a Sean Alexander, I'm robbing you for that.
I mean, I go back further than that with a lot of the guys in the '80s and even into the '70s. I mean, I picked up some old Kenny Stabler stuff and Joe Namath stuff when I had the opportunity because I would turn over Shaquille O'Neal.
Don't get me started on Joe Namath.
And things like that to go back and get the stuff that I wanted to collect. So
as an Alabama
you can do
fan,
both.
What regard? How has Joe Namath become, outside of calling out Super Bowl III, what he did at Alabama, after Super Bowl III? How did Joe Namath make it in the Hall of Fame?
Well, I think Joe Namath.
And this is coming from an Alabama fan.
It's true. First of all, you talk to football people, and Joe Namath doesn't get the due that he deserves for his arm.
Yeah.
They talk about that Elway whistle when a ball released. Namath had that.
Yeah.
So there is that. But let's face it, Joe Namath was a fantastic football player. He is an unworldly personality.
1,000% true.
And that certainly had something to do with that. I mean, he made his mark with the Jets and all like that, but he was hampered by injuries. But his personality is what put him over the top to make him a surefire Hall of Fame guy.
I love it, man. All right, so we've got to get into some high school spotlight here in this segment so that we can get to some more stories in the next segment with Austin Siegel, who will be back with us tomorrow. First and foremost, though, got to say, big shout out to, again, Brian Haddad for coming in. This is back-to-back Wednesdays, 3 Wednesdays out of the last 4, and I'm extremely thankful for your time that you give us, man. It's a lot of fun. Holmes County, Colby Jones has been named as the Class 1A Player of the Year. He was selected as the Florida Dairy Farmers Class 1A Player of the Year his senior year. He led Holmes County to a 24-7 record, pitched all 7 innings of their 3-1 victory over top-ranked Bozeman in the 1A state finals. He was also a shortstop, selected to second-team All-State through all classifications with an average of .511. He had 46 hits, 33 RBIs, 5 dubs, 5 trips, 2 home runs. 8-1 record with a .87 ERA, 64.2 innings pitched, and he also had 80 strikeouts. He's going to be joining Northwest Florida State baseball team this fall. We're going to take a time out. We'll be right back. Thank you guys for riding with the Afternoon Underdogs here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. If you're up north of 231 or north on 231, switch it over to 102.1.
Northwest Florida. It's the Dan Patrick Show.
NFL will argue for significant suspension for Deshaun Watson. A significant one feels like maybe the season. But if you're the Cleveland Browns, you had to play this out in your mind. Worst case scenario, best case scenario. Are we looking at 4 games best case, a year worst case?
It's the Dan Patrick Show. Weekday mornings from 9 till 11. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
For love of food, love of country, American Charlie Grill and Tavern is a new all-American eatery at the shops at Edgewater. From the local team that brought you Firefly, On the Fly, and more. Classic dishes that have become staples of our country for over a century. American Charlie Grill and Tavern is open Monday through Saturday at 11 a.m. Daily happy hour from 2 till 6. $2 off all liquor, beer, and wine. Lots of TVs make it a great spot to watch all sports. Hope to see you soon at American Charlie Grill and Tavern.
Hi, this is Coach James Hale. Keeping your car looking great is easy as 1, 2, 3 at Blue Sky Express Car Wash. By joining their monthly wash club, you'll get the best bang for your buck. In just 2 car washes, your monthly membership pays for itself, starting at only $19.99 a month. What are you waiting for? Become a member today at Blue Sky Express Car Wash on Back Beach Road next to Home Depot. Tell them Coach Hale sent you.
Ben and Deb Collins, owners of Bay Guns and Gear, have been in business since 2010, offering new firearms and accessories with a huge selection available for your hunting needs and personal defense. Turn to Bay Guns and Gear. They have the weapon for you. Discount pricing. And if you can't find what you're looking for, they'll special order it for you. Bay Guns and Gear, across from Grease Pro at 3115 Highway 77. Visit their website, baygunsandgear.com.
Remember, everything that we take to the beach needs to leave with us. Plastic bottles, plastic bags, beach chairs, and fishing gear can cause detrimental harm and even death to these threatened and endangered animals. Gulf World Marine Institute is dedicated to the rescue, rehabilitation, and release of sea turtles. We ask that each of you take responsibility for your trash and beach items so that we can have cleaner waters and beaches for the animals that call it home. Let's work together and keep the Gulf of Mexico clean and safe.
Now back to the most dangerous afternoon show on terrestrial radio.
Danger's my middle name.
It's illegal in 5 states. The Afternoon Underdogs, inside the Rib Crib Radio Room. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
It really doesn't matter what you think, because we're going to give you the real spill, brought to you by Austin Siegel. It's the Afternoon Underdogs. You're riding with David Hayes, Brian Haddad, and Austin Siegel. Make sure that you keep your eyes peeled. July 1st through the 18th, we're voting for the Afternoon Underdogs for Best of Bay in the radio department. Also, join us on 4th of July. We've got lots of fun for kids, live music, and a parade. Fireworks display at 9:30 over the beautiful St. Andrews Bay. Sponsored by Destination PC, the city of Panama City, and 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Austin, give me another story, bro.
Yeah, I'll go with another Coach Jordan story. That the old defensive coordinator, like if you guys weren't listening earlier, he's about 65 when he coached us, and he's retired now. He retired after my freshman season because he had heart complications, and doctors flat out told him, like, dude, you're so old and beat up, like, you keep coaching, you're going to take about 10 years off your life. And so he just kind of was like, I've been coaching college for 38 years, so about time to hang him up. So he called it quits after my freshman year. But another funny story that I have, so there was a really close friend of mine. He's from San Diego. He came in as a safety, and then they eventually moved him to outside linebacker because he couldn't run quite good enough to play safety. But this guy was you got to be football smart to play college football, and this guy was a wonderful athlete.
Why aren't they recruiting me out here? I'll tell you why.
You got eligibility.
It's because I got eligibility, but I'm also 160 pounds. I told you I was going off in about 2 minutes. 160 pounds, soaking wet. That ain't gonna work for nothing.
Creatine, that's all you need.
Creatine and working out to utilize the creatine.
I don't know. My diet will put some weight on you, that's for sure.
Shoot, yeah, it's true. I gotta try it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he wasn't very football smart, but he was just wonderfully gifted just athletically, just one of those guys that just, man, he didn't have to have a clue what was going on. He could just make a play. And I was really jealous of him because I'm not like that. Like, I gotta know what's going on. I'm not athletic enough to make up for mistakes. Well, Coach Jordan could not stand him because he wasn't football smart. And as an older coach, you don't really want to spend the time like working with like critiquing and repeating yourself. Older coaches do not like to repeat themselves. They're not very patient. Well, Coach Jordan definitely wasn't very patient. And this one particular day, he did not like freshmen. His whole idea of freshmen were they're not ready to play, and most of the time he's correct on that. They're not. I mean, a freshman, you come into college, you have no idea what's going on. You're just trying to figure things out as you go. and you're watching the older guys trying to make sure you're doing the right things. Well, this one particular day, he knew that my buddy, his name's Berman, he knew Berman did not know the call, did not know the coverage. So he was going to put him on the spot and make an example out of him. And so he had an older guy out on the field, and he took the older guy off the field and put him on. And then he stopped practice and everything, and stopped the scout team offense and everything. And he said, "Hey, Berman, what coverage are we in?" And we all paused. We're like, "Uh-oh," because we know he doesn't know. Like he doesn't. He's an idiot.
Did you know?
To be completely honest with you, I probably did. As a freshman,
Come on, man. It was a 3-4 base.
Well, at that time we were a 4.25.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Those are the rarities. Like you don't ever see people running 4.25s. Yeah. No, the Nick back all the time. That's crazy.
It's the same defense he ran from like the 70s. Yeah. And it was a great defense in the 70s.
Were they running nickelbacks in the 70s? I mean,
yeah. Well, that's when he started.
I'm not well versed on that.
For his first 20 years of coaching college, his defenses were top.
Because that's how you really slow down spread offenses and passing offenses, correct? Yeah.
I don't know why it worked back then, but it really, it just did. The 4.25, just for him, it really worked.
Hey, trust me, when I'm asking you a question, I'm actually asking a question because you got the answer.
You wouldn't think that it would work well, but against running teams and stuff, because
what's your favorite defense to be a part of?
I think the most effective one is probably the 3-4.
3-4, right? Because you've got more linebackers on the edge to be able to.
Yeah, it's the easiest one that you can shift out of things out of.
Right, it's not line up hat on hat. It's absolutely.
Like with the 3-4, you can bring an extra D lineman in.
But with the 4-3, you're stuck, right? Because you're not gonna have a defensive end go cover a running back.
4-3 is still pretty good, though.
It can be.
You got to have
if
really
you got the right personnel.
That's it. Yeah, it's special. 3-4, you can pretty much run that with anybody.
3-4, you can do multiple things. Outside of that, are you a 4-2-5 type guy? Do you like the nickelback package?
I was in it for my freshman year, and the one thing I noticed about that is we led the country in turnovers. Every game we're getting 3 or 4 picks because we were great in coverage.
Why do you think Nick Saban's still doing what he's doing?
That's a great question. He knows a lot more than I do. I'll say that.
But his specialty is defensive backs.
The problem with the 4.25 is you're going to get a lot of turnovers,
but you ain't stopping that run.
You're also going to give up a crazy amount of yardage and a crazy amount of points. Now it offsets with the turnovers that you get. You're going to give your offense the ball on the 30-yard line regularly. Right. Like they're going to get great field position, but at the same time you're also going to get bombed on, and you're going to get they're going to run the ball down your throat.
Now, why bombed on though? Because when the nickelback, the guy comes in, right? He's more of like a hybrid safety linebacker type guy, not a guy who can cover over the top.
Yeah, well, with that position, we have blitzes and stuff that you have to run. Because if you don't run the blitzes, they're just going to continue to run the football.
If you don't run the blitzes, then you don't hit on your points.
Well, and that's what I would imagine. You can do so many variables out of that communication's got to be the key. And if you got two guys who aren't on the same page, there's a huge bust.
And they know that you have to blitz with a 4-2-5 because you don't have the numbers in the box to stop the run, because all they have to do is bring a tight end in the box, and now they have 6 blockers for 6 guys in the box, and you're outmatched. There's nobody to account for the running back, and so you have to blitz somebody because it just doesn't make sense. Like with that, that's why it's a numbers game. Really, is what it is. It's not schemes or anything. It's the numbers.
If Austin Siegel's not coaching in 5 years, I'm gonna give him time to figure his life out and stuff like that. If this dude's not coaching in 5 years, I'm gonna put a pillow on my hand. I'm gonna smack him. It ain't gonna hurt you.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
It ain't gonna hurt you. But come on, bro. You know what you're talking about.
It was interesting. You were talking about the guy who had trouble understanding that, but was athletic. Howie Long tells a great story about that as well, because he played at Villanova, which certainly not a football power, definitely not in the 70s.
No.
But when he talks about going to the Raiders, he says, all right, we're going to, and they give, just a basic read like that. And I don't know what any of those words mean. And he said how fortunate he was that they actually did take the time, because like you said, a lot of them won't. They'll just cast you off like you can't speak the language, you're behind.
How often does terminology become understandable even though you're not fluid with the offense or defense that you're working with?
You
know what I'm saying? Just like how often is terminology common knowledge?
Well, a lot of time. Well, I mean, there is like certain
1
words.
minute.
There is certain words that like everybody. Is
You're out of
universal.
time for today. No, I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
That minute went quick. But no, like there's certain words that everybody uses, like the concept of power. That's everybody runs that the same way.
Right.
We're going to the right on power.
Yeah, everybody runs certain plays the same way. Defense is a little bit different because you can
change your strong. Yeah. You could change your Sam. You could change your Mike, and you could change your Will. You could change those to other SW.
You can just change their jobs a lot because defense you have a little bit more free range.
Right.
So defense is a little different. Like a lot of coaches will say.
I hate to stop you right here, but we really are out of time. Sam Pittman tomorrow at 4:30. Randy Pittman, not Sam Pittman. Randy Pittman tomorrow at 4:30.
I'll listen to both.
You're going to be back tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Bro, I have Brad Johnson. You're going to be impressed with Sam Pittman when I got Brad Johnson on the phone? Come on. Exactly. All right. Hey, we're out of here for today. Big shout out to Brian Haddad. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
For coming
I
in
love
on
it.
Wednesdays. Austin will be back tomorrow, and whenever he's done with football, I'm recruiting him to full-time on ESPN Northwest Florida. If we can get the pay scale up to his operation status, maybe we can make it happen. Tomorrow's the last show for the day. I'll be back Monday.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd. Boom. That's it. LeBron is a brilliant passer, a Magic Johnson level passer that will get you great three looks. AD's not a three-ball shooter. Westbrook's not a shooter, period. So Kyrie solves